reckon we're going to gear up an A here. You guys want to do something next week? I'm relaxing. Fiddle workshop, wasn't that great? The wonderful Bobby Hicks and all those younger folks. Man, Jason and Jimmy and all of them, they just all sounded good. Bunch of J's on stage there for that thing. We're just gonna play something here, get kind of warmed up, and then we'll talk a little bit, play a little bit more. By the time we get done, we'll all be nice and warm. Then we'll go find somewhere and pick or something. Clay? You want to hit? All right. Well, there you go. So much for warming up, anyway. Got a couple of Clays up here. You all know these guys, Clay Hess and Clay Jones. Yeah, Mountain Heart. Who do you play with, Clay?
I'm playing mandolin for Mark Newton.
Oh, yeah. Smart Alec. Yeah. And then Rebecca Coggin here from Colorado. Rebecca Coggin, right? Coggin. Rebecca Hogan. Sorry. Good job.
Just don't marry a guy with the last name Doss. Rebecca Hogan Doss. That was good.
How many mixes we got up here?
Do what I can.
2 mixes? You mind?
No, I agree with that. Yeah, absolutely.
Turn him down a little bit on our side.
Absolutely.
See hot over there, King? Turn him up over there. Turn him up over there.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys hearing okay, Clay? You got enough?
I don't really like to listen to me anyway.
More Clay Hess over here, please.
Or a little more Jim Hurst out here. A little more Jim Hurst out here.
They want a little more Jim Hurst out there. I'll pay you later. Well, any questions about that one? It's kind of like 3 chords, and you just go after it as best you can. Anything you want to say about that tune, or Clay?
Yeah, that's I kicked my latest. Actually, my only solo record is called Mountain Tradition, and it's came out a couple months ago. And they pay homage, I guess, to Tony Rice, one of my heroes, and kicked it off with Salt Creek. So that's like I said, it's available on my Mountain Tradition album, and just recently released it. That if I can speak. So, there you go. Good record. Thank you. Thank you.
Very good.
I don't know if you guys heard that, but he was doing some like double time picking there. You want to talk about that a little?
Yeah, I don't know how I do it. I've just always been able to play like that for some reason. But I guess it comes from rock and roll, listening to a lot of rock and roll growing up, you know, AC/DC, Leonard Skinner, stuff like that. So.
Has a great analytic view on that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Go ahead. Wanna play one?
Let's do Home Sweet Home.
What key?
D's fine.
D.
Now we'll do one off my record.
All right.
And this is just a different technique of playing, using a lot of chord shapes and just using a lot of right hand technique to get your notes out more than playing linear lines. Just just rolling around with the right hand and kind of cross picking, but not really. So it's called Home Sweet Home. It's a little banjo tune.
Any questions about that technique? Could you see he was using a lot of chord shapes to kind of find his melody through those chord shapes? I think it's a really cool technique. It's what Mother Maybelle Carter and Doc Watson and a bunch of different folks used to do. Doc still does it. Clay's doing it. He does a lot of that, and sounds really good when you do it, Clay. Good stuff, man. And you notice one of the things that I noticed is there's a lot of melody in what he's doing. He's finding it throughout the chords, and he's using some grace notes, but the melody is there for the most part. I mean, once in a while he'll get away from it as an artistic inflection. Do you want to say anything about it?
Well, basically what I try to do with that tune is emulate. If anybody's ever heard a banjo player play that tune using Scruggs tuners, is emulate that with the picking technique and the chord shapes. Like you know, using the pull-offs and hammer-ons to get that effect, which I actually did by accident, so I can't really claim credit for actually sitting down and figuring it out. But it's just a really cool feel to me, and a little something different from actually having to go as hard as you can at a song every time is a curse when you're a guitar player in the bluegrass world. Thank you.
Any questions? It's okay to ask questions. It's a workshop.
I have one.
Okay.
Just explain maybe what you mean to them by accident.
Well, when I figured it out, I was playing a lot of guitar, you know, sitting in, I used to play guitar all the time, no matter what I was doing. If I'm watching TV, I was playing the guitar. Even if you're not consciously listening to what you're playing, you know, if you're doing anything mindless, watching TV or, you know, whatever, sit and just have a guitar in your hand if you're wanting to learn, because it gets you familiarized with it and more comfortable with it. And, you know, comfort's what it's all about, being able to be relaxed and play. And for those of you trying to play fast, as I'm sure Clay will attest to, you can't play fast unless you're completely relaxed. But it's kind of a catch-22. It's hard to be relaxed when you know you have to play real fast. So just find a comfort level with it. And, you know, the more familiar you are with it, the better.
Any comments about what you just heard? Yes? No, I guess he's waving somebody. Texas must be playing.
Hey, my first question is cool.
For Clay, earlier when you were talking about playing fast and all you do, when
Yes,
you
sir.
do that, do you shift your pick position at all, or do anything different? Like, like a right,
Mm-hmm.
pick that thumb position.
No, I actually, sometimes I'll loosen it up a little bit, you know, from the grip. Just loosen it up just a little bit, but it's the same, you know, I hold it the same way, but I just unloosen the grip a little bit when I start to play a triplet or something like that, just a little bit easier. And sometimes it don't work out that way, and I've dropped picks and can't come, but I try to play too hard sometimes. Then it comes out like like that too. So, but I just try to loosen my grip a little bit, the same direction.
What kind of pick are you using, Clay?
Tortoiseshell. I know. But tortoiseshell picks, they just seem to be thicker, not thicker so much, but just denser, and I can play a little bit faster because they're actually they feel as thick as a real plastic pick does, but they're just not as thick. And I play a Mike Long guitar. Thank you, Mike. It's Indian Rosewood. And let's see what else. D'Addario strings. Thank you, D'Addario, very much.
What are you playing, Clay?
I'm playing actually a Martin Me model. It's a Clay Hess D18. And for those of you interesting? Gosh, I can't talk today. Interested, I'm raffling one off and giving away Saturday here. It's the last one of the 25. So anybody interested, see me about that. It's a really good guitar. And also got a Todd Sam's guitar back here, which is a really good guitar. I'll play here in a minute and get the sound of each one of them. So, and that's it. What do you play, Rebecca? And I use I can't believe you play, tortoiseshell pick.
Thank you very much.
That's great.
Elixir strings. Sorry, Elixir. Elixir is kind enough to endorse me as strings, and they're the best string I feel out there. So, Rebecca, now to you.
I'd like to say Clay Hess bamboozled me into entering this so-called raffle. All you do is walk up and hand him $20 and hope you're being entered. It's not very official. You don't sign anything or anything.
Thanks.
It happens tomorrow night at midnight, and he told me a little boy is going to throw a dart at numbers. And you're...
Whatever number it hits wins the guitar.
So I'll be
In the
whispering into
Wisconsin
this
room.
little boy's ear.
At midnight on the 3rd floor. What's it called? Quarter to the right. Belmont 1, 3rd floor, midnight tomorrow night. For those of you wanting to watch a dart match. No, it's still you.
This is a Collings guitar, D3 model. I bought it in 2001 and proceeded to play in the sun too much. As you can see, the top has changed color from its original. It's become yellow. And I play with Wiegand picks. And I forgot what model this is called. It's not the bluegrass pick. Anybody out there know? T140. These are the best, in my opinion, because I can't afford tortoiseshell picks. And they're cheaper. They're only $7.50 from the Flat Picking Guitar Mercantile. And these are D'Addario strings. EXPs, yeah. And I have to buy them. And I change them pretty much every day, so you can imagine I'm bitter about it. No, just kidding. When I'm playing with you.
EXPs are the coated D'Addarios, unlike, similar to, but unlike the Elixirs. Elixirs has a couple of different styles, and I actually played the D'Addario myself, but I don't play the coated, but my hands are very dry, and they last a long time. I probably change my strings about once every 10 days or something. Depending on how often I play outdoors, or if I do a lot of jamming, you know, they'll wear down just like any other string. I use a medium gauge phosphor bronze D'Addarios. Although on this guitar, this is a brand new guitar for me today. I just picked it up about, I don't know, I bet somewhere around noon or something. I picked this up from the Rockbridge Guitar boys over in Charlottesville, Virginia. And I mean, it's brand new, and it's a good excuse for not playing well. I usually play a Hess and Dalton or a Gallagher, a Hess and Dalton DRH Custom or a Gallagher Doc Watson, but today I've got a brand new Rockbridge and I'm tickled with, but it has Elixirs on it, and I'm not real comfortable with that real slickness. I'm used to my fingers grabbing a little tighter, so all these mistakes are because A, it's a number one, it's a brand new guitar, and two, the strings are too daggum slick, all right? But I really like this guitar. It's brand new, and Rockbridge guitars, and it's just a Fender extra heavy plastic pick. That's all it is. And I've got a couple of tortoise shells that I've got hidden away, and if anybody comes up and asks me to show them to them, I don't have them with me. So, but I don't like using them. I use them in the studio sometimes if I'm looking for a little top end. But for me, they're a little glassy and a little scrapey. The plastic kind of helps me. I think a lot of it has to do with, first of all, if you play it long enough, you learn how to use them. Second of all, if your pick attitude is a little off, if you're not really clean on your pick, and I'm not, that the fibrous material of tortoiseshell, I think, can actually increase your scrapiness on your picks. If you come sideways, you get that kind of sound, and I ain't real crazy about that sound. Plus, tortoiseshells cost way too much for a hard-working bluegrass musician. And these things here are like 50 cents a piece. I get like 150 of them at a time. A music store near me, they'll order a whole bunch of them and then just sell me what I need to when I want them. And that's pretty good. But and then if you drop them and lose one, it's 50 cents. So.
This guitar that I just told you about, I just grabbed it, and it's 7 days old, and it's just already a really great guitar. So I thank Todd Sanders for this one too.
Yeah,
I think Rebecca decided she got talked into doing this with us, hairy-legged boys, like yesterday. I think she's doing a great job. What do you think?
It's pretty scary if you're wondering. Okay, I'm bad though. We can do it.
Play what you want.
I want to do my namesake tune, written by Herschel Sizemore.
Oh yeah. Cool. Good call.
Some of you out there might think I'm actually Pat Flynn, if you're looking in the program. He wasn't able to attend.
Wherever you want.
I never played good, but I'm a Rebecca, right?
Yeah, one of y'all pick it up. Okay, you pick it up.
You want to kick it off?
Yeah, come on.
Come on, Becca.
I'll back you up.
You call it, you pick it.
No, they called.
I'll do it.
anybody out there interested in hearing these guys talk about their right hand? Yeah? A couple people are nodding out there. It's really fun for me to be around professionals and watch how different their right hand looks than amateurs like me, and a little more relaxed seeming. Of course, I don't know yet, so maybe I'll turn it over to them.
I guess I get to go first. Actually, my whole theory of right hand is it's based on comfort once again, but to me, as anything as if, you know, like building, anything that's square is going to work the best. If I find that if I can keep my thumb, like the end of my thumb that holds my pick, as straight with the strings as possible, obviously your pick angle is going to be flat. The flatter your pick angle, the cleaner you're going to sound, because you're not digging at the strings with your pick. And if the more, you know, flat you can keep your the bottom edge of your thumb with the strings, it's going to help too. And it helps to play clean. I anchor my right hand. Some people don't. I use that as like a reference point, which I feel helps me play cleaner. I know it helps me play cleaner. I don't know other people, but I use it as like a spring. So I always keep my finger in the same place. So if I play down, the hardest thing to do when you're playing lead is to play back up, because it's not as natural as pushing away from you. So I play with my fingers anchored and push down on them, but I just bend my finger down. I don't move it. That way when I come back up, I can just let off of it a little bit and it pushes it back up like a spring. So it's a lot easier for me to do that, and that's what works for me.
My right hand sort of took it from playing banjo, because I played banjo for like 6 years before I ever started playing guitar. And like Clay, I anchor my pinky and my ring finger when I play lead, but I don't when I'm playing rhythm. I'll sort of close it. Sometimes I'll open it up just out of habit. But this comes from playing banjo, because usually you'll plant your two fingers when you're playing banjo. So when I started playing guitar, I just transported right to that. I just always had that comfort of it. And there again, the right hand rhythm too. I do want to stress too about rhythm guitar. Not a lot of people put a lot of emphasis, I guess, on rhythm guitar. That's one of the first things, I would, if I was any guitarist with my right hand, it was to practice rhythm first of all, and then you can go for the leads and everything, especially if you're going to work in any kind of a band situation. To be a great rhythm guitar player first of all, and then concentrate on your lead. And that's about all on my right hand, I guess.
I guess for me, it's not quite as much the flat pick style as it is just trying to play what I feel melody-wise. I didn't grow up in flat pick camps, and I see what they're saying, and there's a lot of validity in the way they play guitar, and I'd suggest highly to at least try to do it the way they're doing it. I just don't do it that way because I just never really learned to do it that way. I've been playing guitar a long time, and I'm split between fingerstyle and flat picking. So my style is like a hybrid style for the most part. When I have the flat pick in my hand, I'm more looking for the note and the tone of the note without the sound of the pick than I am trying to play 16th notes up and down so much. I do a lot more probably hammer-ons and pull-offs than your average everyday flat picker, because I don't like the sound of the string hitting the pick hitting the string. And that, for me, that's what happens when I play like tortoiseshell. I get that tic-tac kind of sound. Some guys can do that, or girls, and they can really make it work. For me, it gets in my way. I want to hear the sound of the string coming out of the guitar, not the pick and the string. I want it to sound like that. So when I'm playing it, I think I just over the years have kind of moved around my hand to get rid of the pick sound. Now, most guys, I think, want that sound, and it's just a personal taste for me. And then I don't anchor as often as probably some people. Sometimes if I'm playing in a loud environment, I anchor in order to get more volume out of my right hand. But most of the time, I float my right hand when I'm playing solo. I use my right hand as almost like sorry, that's me. See, told you. I used, the pick guard to me is like a rip fence. If for all of you that work on, wood saws and things, to me it's more like a rip fence, and I use it as like a gauge to keep my hand about the same distance across the strings. Because what I find when I plant, of course, these guys that plant all the time, they don't have this problem, I don't think. But for me, when I plant usually one finger, and it's usually I post with my little finger. But what I find is when I'm opening up, I have less control than when I'm closed. And so I know some people actually grab the bottom string when they go up to the top. When they're at the fifth and sixth strings, they're kind of grabbing the bottom of the string. To me, it doesn't work for me, because when I go down the neck, when I go down the strings, then I don't have that to hold on to. And it's like having a handrail to go on until you can't, and then it's not there, so then you get this. People who do it really, really well. I can't do it that way. The only way I know to do it is just try to be as consistent as I can, because as an old geek, an old truck driver, I'm not as fast and clean as some of these young guys, but what I try to do is make the tone the best I know how, and I try to play the notes to where the notes come out of the guitar as opposed to picking the note. And so I think part of that is why we pick the picks we do. A lot of the things that we do as individuals is based on our style, our approach to the songs, what we want to hear out of the guitar, and whether we're playing fast or slow or whatever. And a lot of the great pickers use tortoiseshell. Tim Stafford, David Greer, you two guys. I think Brian Sutton does. And some of us older guys, it doesn't work for me because I don't like the sound of that pick. So it's just whatever works for you. I don't think there's right or a wrong way to do any of it. But if you want to play like Clay, you're going to do it the way Clay does it. If you want to play like her or be like me, you're going to do it more like the way we do it if you want to do it that way. One of the things I like to say is if you count down probably the top 5 guitar players in the world in bluegrass, you got Tony Rice and Doc Watson, Norman Blake, you go down the list, you pick any 5 of them and every one of them is going to approach it different. There's not 2 of them that play exactly alike. Part of it is physical. Tony Rice got those long arms, and when he plays, he kind of wraps his arm around back here. He plays back here. I'm short-armed, and I'm kind of stocky and kind of stubby, and, I don't wear black and white because I look like a penguin. But at least not on purpose. And so I have to approach the guitar based on my physical stature and my size. Same thing with a lot of women when they play a dreadnought guitar. Their size is a little smaller, so when they play a dreadnought, their arm is way up here and it's a little uncomfortable. So they have to find a way to make that work. So if they had to try to get everything in ergonomic, perfect position, it might be difficult for them. And the one thing that I'll say, and then I'll shut up about it, is the one thing you want to try to get away from is carpal tunnel and tendonitis. And if you put your hand in an odd position, you're going to create more chances of doing that. And if you watch Tim Stafford play, he's one of my favorites, and it's no secret. And I was happy to see him being nominated this year. He's got this really strange right hand. He told me one time that Alison Krauss calls it the baby seal flipper. But that's kind of like Clay here. He started off on banjo, and he kind of twisted his hand around to play banjo. And so when he adapted to guitar, that's kind of what he did. Well, that's kind of out of necessity, and man, he's great at it. But if anybody else tried to do it like him, they'd be hard-pressed to get it working. Tim's phenomenal at that. But the same thing, there's a lot of different players that play completely different. I know guys that play and they put their guitar like at this angle here and they play this way. Well, I couldn't do it that way either. So work with whatever you think works for you with the size guitar you have. Of course, if you're a flat picker, you're 99% of the time you're going to play a dreadnought guitar. But no matter what you play, you need to find out what works for you and use what other people have said as ways to try it out and see how it works. And some of the cleanest, fastest players are going to do it the way the 2 Clays here do it and the way Brian Sutton does it. And just make sure you do what feels good to you. And I think that'll help.
Jim, you play, I heard you once say that Jerry Reed was a big influence on your playing, and you incorporate fingerstyle. Can you demonstrate some of that sort of stuff? It's different.
Yeah, the question was, a big influence on me was Jerry Reed. And actually, I was kind of like the fingerstyle version of a lot of the flat pickers. I was a big clone of Jerry Reed when all the flat pickers were clones of Tony Rice. But at 14, Jerry Reed told me, I saw him personally, and he said, you don't need to be Jerry Reed. He says, I'm having a hard time doing that myself. And he said, take what you've learned and do your own thing. So that's kind of what I did. And I always loved bluegrass. I grew up listening to it. And so what I've done was I've just taken and used the flat, the thumb pick as kind of like a flat. If you guys got how much time we got, John?
We got time to do like an instrumental feature one of your pieces, like where you do, some of your chord structure.
Yeah, Jim. Well, we're gonna do a little bit of Will Hoss, and then maybe get time for like one
and then we can go then one after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys don't mind, I had a couple of people ask me if you guys don't mind. Yeah, I'll just take a couple seconds. I'll show you some of this with with my version of a Bill Monroe song. And in this song, I incorporate several different things, but the one I'm trying to get across today is my going from fingerstyle to flat pick by using a thumb pick without picks. And so what I do is I grab onto the bottom of the thumb pick and I use it kind of like a flat pick. And in some of this, you'll see that that works. And then other times I'm opening up my hand and playing several different things. And so, and I've tuned this down to G, open G, unlike dobro. Dobro goes with a high B and then a low G. This has got an actual, that's a G and a low D. So this is Will Hoss. Recorded this on my first album, and hopefully you can get through it. Thanks, folks. That's a long-haired version of Bill Monroe. That's what my dad would have said anyway. But to answer your question, what I'm doing is I'm using the flat pick to, the thumb pick as a flat pick to do. And then later on, I'm doing like double stops or a bass line where I'm opening up and still using this kind of as a flat pick in theory, but I'm only holding it with a thumb. While I'm doing that, I'm accompanying it with this. And it goes from being a flat pick, taking the lead, to a bass line, and it kind of alternates back and forth. And then in the middle there, I'm doing double stops with the bass line, and it goes from there, and a lot of percussive stuff with my right hand. So it's kind of hard to do that in a bluegrass tune for me, because usually when I play bluegrass, I usually get out the flat pick because I want to honor the tradition and I want to make fun of anything. And it's fun to try to challenge myself to play flat pick too. And I don't usually do the chicken picking thing where you hold it, you have the flat pick and then like Albert Lee or Ricky Skaggs and much of those guys do, and they do it great, and they use their other fingers. Because I feel like if I'm going to do that, I'll just put the thumb pick on, and because it gives me one more finger. You know what I'm saying? But it's more about me. It's never about technique as much as it is trying to get some things accomplished with my left hand and letting the right hand kind of do it. And sometimes you get into trouble with that. But anyway, I hope that answered your question. Any other questions about technique? Yes, sir.
Are you guys, not about technique, but are you guys doing any showcases later on in the week so we can come up and hear some more of this fine, fantastic stuff?
The only thing I'm doing is tomorrow at 5:45, I'm working with Claire Lynch on her set at FanFest. You guys doing anything?
And we're playing tonight at 7:30. Mountain Heart will be on the FanFest show tonight at 7:30. So.
I'm in a band. We're playing tonight, same time as Alison Krauss over at Station Inn to open for. It's gonna be packed. To open for Doyle Lawson. A band's called Hit and Run Bluegrass. That's at the Station Inn. I don't know if I said that.
We're doing. I'm doing a showcase tonight in the Wisconsin room at 11:45. Tomorrow night at 11:45. Playing with Mark Newton at 11:50 Sunday morning on the FanFest stage.
Yes. Characterize my finger picking in what?
The B part?
The B part. It goes from being the thumb pick being the lead to the thumb pick going to the bass line. And then the first, depending on which section, which B section, it gets a little more aggressive as the song goes on. It goes from being a melody to a percussive melody to double stops and, a walking bass line kind of counterpoint kind of thing. And it's just like David Greer says, blah, 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 but it's just a bunch of stuff trying to make it sound like music, you know what I'm saying? And I can't really bring it down, I just have to show it to you. I'm not very good at orating. Yes?
Jim, Becky is missing her G pin there. Are you using that little block or?
It's actually a black one. There's a black one.
It just looks like it's missing.
Okay.
Just popped out one day. People think, wow, she's really dialed in. She figured out the black one sounds good on the G string.
She's an equal opportunity employer. Are you playing somewhere? Did you already say? Yeah, you already said. Any other questions before we got one more song and we gotta get out of here? Well, hope you've enjoyed it. John called us up and asked us to come be part of this. Like I said, Pat Flynn should have been here, but he had something he had to do. And I'm glad that Becca came up here and joined us. Good job, Becca. Great job.
I just like to say, if anybody out there is just like me, mystified by these guys, the best thing to do is pop in their CD and play along. That's I'm out in Colorado, and I don't get to go out and see people play like this every day. And the best thing you can do is just try to seriously just play along and try to copy what they do. I don't know if anybody heard, I was trying to do some of his stuff on Salt Creek. Trying to steal it before he got to it, so it looked like it was my idea.
Now you could be a man. That's what we all do. I still tell Tim Stafford's licks when I can figure them out. We'll do one more song, and what I'd like to do is challenge. Oh, there's Tim Stafford. I shouldn't have said that. What I thought we would do is do a little Black Mountain Rag. Let's do it in a couple of different keys. Maybe C and G. You guys want to do? You have a pick? Okay. You have a pick. You have a choice that you want to do it. Okay. Let's start in C.
Sure. I wanted to make mention too. A lot of people asked me about my new solo album. They weren't able to find it. So if you're interested in it, see my beautiful wife at the back over there at the Bluegrass Now table. We have some of those available for you. So we'll do it and ready to go.
While we're doing commercials, I also have an instructional DVD. I'm sure one of these guys does too. And if you're interested, come see us.
My CDs are for sale on my website. But also tomorrow at FanFest where we're playing with Claire, they'll be out in all the artist areas. I didn't bring them here because I didn't know we could sell them. But hopefully you can take some home, and Christmas is coming. Do you have any CDs, Becca?
Yes.
Yep, Hit and Run Bluegrass has a couple CDs. You can get them on county sales or on our website, pretty much, or from us.
Oh, one more thing. I want to thank Dan Miller and Flat Picking Guitar Magazine. I'm on the cover of them this month. So thanks, Dan Miller, Flat Picking Guitar.
I want to thank the sponsors for the workshop stages, and thanks IBMA for allowing this to happen. Hope you guys have a great week this week, and I'm glad it's in Nashville, although I was worried about it to start with, but it's been a great week, and you guys have yourself a good time this weekend. We'll catch you around. Clay Hess, Clay Jones, Rebecca Hogan, Jim Hurst. Thanks, folks. Thank you. Thanks to John Laswell as well. Appreciate it, John.